Bill Gates is publicly apologizing for spending time with Jeffrey Epstein, even after Epstein had already been convicted of soliciting a minor. He admitted traveling on Epstein's private jet, admitted continuing contact until 2014. And in the same town hall, he acknowledged extramarital affairs, including two relationships with Russian women he met through professional circles. Let's bring in Roshini Rajkumar, political strategist, attorney, and host of the Crisis Files. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Kevin. Wow, Bill Gates really let this one extend out and has kind of now exploded into kind of like, yeah, we knew stuff was going on. It's kind of crazy when they just let things go until we have to speculate, and then it gets to where we are.
Yeah, and this was not, interacting with Epstein before people knew who Epstein was. This was after it was known.
Exactly. That's such a great point. And every year, every month, every year that went by after all the Epstein stuff really came to light, investigations, he's in prison, all of that stuff, and all the things that happened since. I mean, at any point, Bill Gates could have diffused his own crisis situation, but I think he chose to believe, this is my speculation, either this will go away or we've got people working on it to cover it up. I mean, that's all I can think is what was happening behind the scenes.
Yeah, it's hard to accept an apology when he's known about his wrongdoing since it occurred, and this case came out and became very public, and his name was associated with it, and then not saying anything at the time. I mean, maybe not in the first hours or so, but certainly not this far away from when it actually happened.
Yeah, and the other thing, Kevin, for people to think about is here's a person who's one of the richest people in the world, definitely a name that most people know, his foundation, just all of the layers, and also has used that persona, his public image, for his benefit and the benefit of his family and the benefit of his business dealings. And I'm not saying he's not a philanthropist, but and I'm not saying that you have to be perfect even if you are a philanthropist, but he has used the collective goodwill of people toward Bill Gates to continue to grow his reputation, his wealth, while a good amount of that time behind the scenes, he was doing, whether you want to call it illicit, seedy things for sure, and obviously things that busted up his marriage.
Well, he also did deny criminal wrongdoing. He denied witnessing illicit behavior. He denied ever going to Epstein Island. Doesn't it seem from a crisis standpoint that it would have been much better for him to say those things right out of the gate and acknowledge that he did have a friendship, a relationship with the guy?
Absolutely. And that's the thing. Now it's really hard for me to believe anything Bill Gates says. One of the rules of crisis management, definitely crisis prevention, but once you're in the crisis management, is get out in your own words, yourself, be the one who says it first, say it early, and repeat your story so that your narrative doesn't get created by someone else, which is absolutely what's been happening in the public domain all of these years until this news broke.
Yeah, it really makes me want to know how much money did Bill Gates give to political campaigns, and did he sprinkle both sides with a ton of money, hoping that these Epstein files would never come to surface?
Yeah, I wonder that too. And a lot of us, I mean, if you just have common sense, there were bad things happening. There were illegal things happening. And every month that goes by, I just keep wondering who else is going to come out? Who else's prevention campaign is going to just fall or dissolve because they couldn't either pay off enough people, or really what I hope is that law and justice prevails and bad actors are found out regardless of their status in the world and regardless of their wealth.
So does he have to do crisis management, or is he so rich he just moves on and continues his philanthropy?
Well, Kevin, as a crisis strategist, I'm always going to say there's always time for crisis management. He doesn't have smart advisors around him, is my armchair opinion on this one, because if he did, we wouldn't be at this stage. So what he does moving forward, I also think from the things that I've read about him, he's a very smart man. There might be a little arrogance in there that because he did some of these things and was defying, his family, he was defying his business dealings, his board of directors, all of those things. So when you do that, there's a level of arrogance that you kind of feel like you're maybe above the law. That's why I'm really waiting to see whether it's Bill Gates or other of the people that we feel. I mean, Prince Andrew, we've seen what's happened there. I see more criminal charges coming out with some of the names we've heard over the last few years. I just wish those people, if they truly are bad actors, they will do all of us, and especially themselves, a favor and reach out to the authorities and try to admit or at least prevent worse headlines for themselves.
What do you think about him just kind of throwing in there admitting affairs in the same breath as the apology for Epstein? Is it good to bundle that all up?
No, I mean that's why. I mean, why bring your ex-wife into that? Why re-harm her? And then of course, good reporters are going to go try to get a comment from her. And I thought her comment was brilliant. Well, that is for other people, the bad actors, and my ex-husband to answer, not I.
Right, exactly. She has a good crisis manager, or at least a much better one than her husband.
She does, and she has a better just sense of self and common sense, and when to speak and when not to speak.
Yeah, I think so. Does throw your legal hat on? Does he have anything to worry about legally as this, as more files come out, or is this all just is statute of limitations things passed, or I guess it depends on what was happening on the island. Not that he's been accused of doing anything.
Yeah, well, a couple layers to your question. The statutes of limitation, if indeed Bill Gates did anything criminal, may have run. But even if he did something illegal and statutes have run and there's nothing to charge him with, if he absolutely did something illegal or worse than what we've already read and watched on the news, if you've done a crime, it will eventually come out. It might be 10 years from now, and it might be after you die. So I'm big on admitting bad behavior and asking for forgiveness. And if it's going to be a crime situation, asking for a lesser sentence. But yes, I mean, it's a fine line you walk because no one wants to go to prison. But now there's even more speculation that's going to happen because, like you say, his latest is this confessional. He threw in everything but the kitchen sink into what he's apologized for. But, oh, by the way, I didn't do anything illegal. Well, that's interesting that you throw that in
case
there
you're
too.
wondering. Yeah, in case you're wondering. So what should he do from here? What should his next move be? He's got the apology out there.
Well, he should try to stay out of the news if he can. He should live a clean life. And I don't know if he's doing that, if he's learned any lessons. And if there is anything criminal, he should, behind the scenes, his attorney should sit down with whatever authorities there are and talk through things, because who knows what's in in those dossiers? Who knows? And if you are innocent, if you did not commit a crime, then that's the only person who can kind of sleep at night. But if you know you did something that was against the law, whether it was a sexual charge or something else, money laundering, you know it. And this is when it's time to step up and clean the slate, because he also has adult children who are still living. And, his ex-wife may not care about him anymore, but he does have other people who do, and whose his bad behavior does affect.
Roshini Rajkumar, political strategist, attorney, and host of the Crisis Files. Thank you so much. Really appreciate the conversation.
Thanks, Kevin.